Off we go.
Da-da-da-da. We made it. Is button enabled. Watch out, world.
We talked about the inception, so.
Good morning.
You sound fresh.
Feeling
Good morning.
all right? I'm pretty fresh.
So I'm gonna start off honoring my best friend. He told me today that they had a baby, but it came so fast that they had it outside under a tree because they couldn't even get to the hospital.
Fantastic.
That's a great story. I got to hear all the details at some point.
Awesome. Everyone okay?
Yeah, great. Happy, healthy second baby. So I think everything just happens better, faster.
Quicker. Very cool.
Yeah.
Congrats, friend.
Exciting. Yeah.
Justin has the biggest coffee cup in the world.
This is just human drink, you know. This is coffee, but it's almost gone.
Right.
We always get to this point of recording, and I'm like, Jem's got coffee. I don't have much coffee left. Sad face. How's it going? How's any baby news in your life? Anybody have a baby?
No more babies. None of that. What's happening, Mr.
Moon? Lots of stuff.
Cool.
I tried out some. We got some feedback on complaining about nesting.
Oh.
Nothing beneficial in the fusion world, but I've got to have to look up who it was. Somebody commented, message that said that Rhino Nest and Rhino Cam obviously have nesting, and I had already done that exact search myself for like the 50,000th time of like, I like Rhino. I know it had nesting somewhere at some point with a plugin, and apparently Rhino Nest is discontinued as far as I can tell. Maybe there's like reseller or something. It really wasn't that crazy. I think it was like 800 or 900 euro, I want to say. And then Rhino Cam had like an outright payment, and then Rhino Cam is still being sold, but we've been down that road of like, it has the most confusing sales process ever. So I didn't get anywhere with that, but it's nice. Whoa. I like it.
What?
You, all of a sudden, I just get all of your notes suddenly.
Did you find any solutions?
No solutions.
No answers. Come on.
We talked about this before. Open Nest is a thing, which does not really work for most of my needs. It's a free plugin for Grasshopper in Rhino, and it seems to, I mean, like, yeah, that's a thing. I could probably set up some template to use it, but like, as far as I could tell, I can't like give each part or assembly a certain amount of nesting units. Like, it's all the same amount, I think. So it's like good for, you know, weird waffle grids and architecture models where you just need like all of the parts nested, it seems like, unless I'm just missing something, but it just doesn't seem like a good fit for trying to nest. Usually what we need is like cabinet parts. And
yeah, sure. But you could like get a whole bunch of closed curves and smash them together into nested sheets, can you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I should check that out.
Thing,
could
I
be
guess.
handy. Yeah.
Right.
I find myself just running like this weird sequence of commands using like align and distribute to just like relatively quickly go blip, 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 push stuff around.
I don't know how I missed this. Sorry, I just did the thing I was saying. I interrupt you all the time on accident.
Good.
I didn't know that distribute was a thing until like a week or two ago.
I'm relatively new to it as well, and frustrated that I didn't know about it earlier.
I know, because you can do like spaces between parts or just like within a certain amount of space. It's so good. It made me think we could probably do the same with a little script in Fusion, but obviously it doesn't really like make a good nest. It just gets them flat.
I still think the answer sits outside Fusion. I really like the idea.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Step models, step files that get zapped into nested blocks. I don't know.
If you combine that idea with my multi-step import script, it can be fairly seamless.
Exactly.
Right. You could have some. I mean, the thing I always think about is when we were in school, one of the alumni of my architecture school started a like startup-y company, and I'm going to forget the name of it now, where he, in school, actually made it as I believe he's in school or just out of school, when he was working for a company, a architecture firm, to stream Rhino files in and out of Revit, because at the time, and I don't know what's capable of now, they were terrible at like organic modeling. And so you could like stream a solid shape in and out, so you could keep tweaking it, but then it would like do the technical things you needed in Revit. And so he's created a whole business around this now where that kind of thing exists. And I've always thought like, man, I'd love to do that with like a fusion situation. I don't know that it's at all possible, but
yeah, the guy that I'm working with, Brian at Stratum, who does the wave table that we made recently, the little coffee table, and he does a whole bunch of like sort of stepped furniture in a similar style. He's big into Rhino and Grasshopper, and pretty much all of his software stack is based on that workflow. And so his web interfaces with like his configurators are really nice, like smooth 3D, like change dimensions, change parameters of the furniture, pan around it, see it update. It's all somehow based on a Grasshopper Rhino setup. And I don't know exactly how it all works, but it's pretty schmack, pretty impressive. I'll try to link in there so you can have a play with it. But really cool. And then so that I got really excited the other day actually, because after I posted that video, one of my customers put an inquiry through his website and for one of the coffee tables, and Brian forwarded the inquiry email to me for the pricing. In the email, there's just like this list of parameters. It's like a list of like, I don't know, 50 variables or something with like coded variables and numbers after them. I was like, awesome. I know what that is. Like you're just taking that and magically feeding that into your Grasshopper script, and then that generates the geometry at your end. So it's not necessarily a direct link between what the customer's doing and your Grasshopper environment, but you can just copy this list of parameters.
Right.
Which is pretty much exactly what Laura and I were discussing recently when because we're redesigning the shelves, like Laura's product, trying to make it a bit more modular. And we're trying to work out what that link would be between like a simple configurator online and being able to like automatically recreate the customer's geometry in Rhino. I was like, oh, you just have a list of coded parameters. So seeing this pop up, I was like, yes, that's it. It's exactly what I want to do. That's sick.
Yeah. Some kind of form fill. This is the thing I had thought about and let go of the idea. We talked about it when configurations came out. I was thinking it would be pretty sweet to be able to like have something play between Shopify and Fusion to like, as an example, because we both use Shopify, to configure a product based on changing basically little parameters, and then it would update through the API and be able to like either re-render it or, dump out something that we could get pricing or like yields or, like any of those things you're potentially interested in. I never went forward with it, and now I don't really know that I want to, but it just was interesting.
Yeah.
Potential.
It'd be an awesome thing to set up in some way. Yeah. So many projects. I don't know, man.
Surrounded by projects. Really am.
Too many fun things. Sorry, when you said, have you lost me? It's because often when I'm sitting in this little dark podcast booth at 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear like a bass line in my ears coming through the wall, and I can never tell whether it's just my own heartbeat or whether like there's a taxi parked outside my wall with like
it's Johnny rolling in with his
drum and bass.
His dubstep.
I know, it's weird, quite disconcerting. So it's like that condition where you start hearing your own body noises and it drives you mad. It's like cold.
God, don't even. I do not need that.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm sure you do. Maybe you've broken yourself, but you also have... Oh, we got to deliver here. There you go, Sniff Dog.
Sniff Dog. Oh, there you go.
Sniff,
right on cue. Right on cue. My friend had a baby yesterday. Awesome.
No! Babies under trees. Do you have that thing where you have a child and then you just hear crying all the time? Like, I hear my child... when I first came back from my very short parental leave, I would sit in this chair at my shop and hear my child crying right? I know this is not a unique experience. Every parent I've ever talked to seems to have something like this, where I was like, how is he at the shop? You know, like you just get so triggered. Your body just flips so quickly to like reacting to, they need me. It's very messy. Do you get that?
I don't think I've had that. No.
Man, should have been Australian, I guess. On the family note, we had a taste of sickness this week. We stayed at some friends at a cabin, short little weekend trip, and almost had the bridesmaids bathroom scene because there was one bathroom.
No, Megan, no, look away, Megan, no, look away.
And two people, not myself, got sick at the same time with basically some kind of like norovirus, stomach flu-y type thing. And it was just like basically food poisoning level of like things happening. And it's not been good. And it just threw all the same thoughts. Like I haven't had that feeling since weird days of COVID where I was just expecting to get it. So I like went to bed one night with like a bucket by my bed on the couch. Like, when's this going to hit? Seems like it's pretty aggressive. And somehow didn't get sick, but like, no fun.
To hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No thanks. Yeah, magically with, 3 small kids having an almost 7-year-old now, we've never had gastro or anything come through the house yet, which is pretty amazing. I'm sure.
Well, you don't send them out to like a daycare, right? Well, one of them, oldest is in school.
Two of them go out in the world into such environments. But
it seems like that's just the breeding ground for like every sickness that goes through those places. Every kid gets it, and I'm excited for that.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Let's go back to plugins for Rhino. I saw this one and thought of you because you're such a blockhead.
I am a blockhead.
Have you seen this Block Edit New? Which is a terrible name. It's got a little UI that seems a little bit more improved for editing blocks in Rhino. I linked it.
What's it do?
I never look at Rhino plugins.
I never think of them either. I really should. Cool. I'll check it out.
We do this every once in a while and then forget about it.
I know. I do use a lot of blocks.
I'm a blockhead.
I think if I open a new file in Rhino right now and count the number of blocks in my template, it's 1,148.
I have such a negative association with blocks. They were such an annoyance in school that like I think I swore them off for so long. And like just recently I realized that it enables using components when you import the files into Fusion.
Yeah.
That's what creates a component. And so I was like, okay, I have some use for this now, but like other than that, it's just so out of my workflow.
I think I discovered them so late in my Rhino life that I've just like, oh my God, what have I been doing?
The stuff you do with it's really cool. I like a lot of your little counting and layout tricks.
Yeah, I had it nice. Customers came in the other day, on Tuesday, I think it was, for a little look at kit parts, and we stood at my standing desk and like jumped in Rhino and configured a set of shelves for them, a couple of sets of shelves. And they're like, oh, what's this software? Oh, cool. Oh. And the next day they bought it all. Fun story.
Yeah.
But works well.
I was going to tell you this. I didn't put it on the list. I got this, I'm like king of these weird little apps for everything, but there's this one, I think I told you about it before, called Bevy Cart Share. And basically it lets you share a cart you've built in Shopify, like on your front end of the site. And it's just like on the cart page and you can copy it. You can customize a little note. Like if you go to my, add something to the cart, you'll see it on the thing. And we've now had a couple more people start to use it lately, and it's giving me a lifetime value of shared carts that have converted. And, the number's nice. It's like pretty effective. If you add a bunch of stuff to your cart, I always think of like, Ricky's going to go find a bunch of cool stuff and send it to me. And then instead of having to like go, well, you should go find this item and add it to your cart and this, it just dumps it all in when you load it.
A user of your website, like I can
Mm-hmm.
make a cart and then share it with someone else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's free.
That's kind of cool.
I thought of it. So I've used it a couple times myself because it's the easiest way in certain circumstances to share with a customer. Like, oh, you need these items. And some of the ways that our like bundles and stuff are built, it doesn't work well for me to make a draft order. So then also they can change the cart at that point. Instead of the draft order, they're kind of stuck, which is good.
Yes, that is good because I use
there's a few good
orders semi-regularly, but then they're locked down, which is annoying. Cool.
All right, I wish you could change that. Here you go. Share
Thanks.
cart.
I'll check it out.
On configurator thoughts, I'd shared this with you, but I've decided to go the way of the branded thing here is called 80/20, but there's a few names for it, like T-slot extrusion, T-slot framing, but it's like extruded aluminum pieces that have like all these little connectors. And per my tour at David's that I'm currently editing a video for, which should be out Sunday, which I'm really excited for. I think it's going to be really good. I love these kind of shop tour videos. I haven't really done one before. It's turned out pretty good. But he just uses extrusions a lot, and it really inspired me to like, I was going to use that maker pipe, like pipe with fittings on the end. And the more, I just never liked, it seems kind of, like, no offense, it just seems a little bit amateurish. I don't like the round tube thing. And the extrusion is just like so well supported. You can go to McMaster or like any of these places across the internet and everybody's got accessories for those things, and it's just like so widespread. So it's a little bit more costly, but like I think similar to like a Nord Fab, like the ducting we use, it's reconfigurable. Sold something apparently. It's reconfigurable, and I think it'll be worth it long term. But in that process, I found that 80/20 has a builder on their site, and I think you said you had found it before. I sent it to you because it's like a cool configurator where you can drop in any extrusions and like build a cart, and then it gives you a price and you can get a build and cut sheet for it and all these like cool PDFs to like then order wherever you want. And I just thought it was really fun to, if you have an idea of something you want to build out of extrusion, you can get all the joints and all the hardware like figured out for you.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I've come across them. I've used them legitimately on jobs a couple of times when I've wanted 80/20 for a project. But I've also, just in my configurator research over the years, I've come across like some of those, and they're amazing. Like that one, another like European one, item something, I can't remember. Just for the scale and the inventory that's available within, they run incredibly well for like a in-browser CAD program, basically. Like very smooth, seamless operation.
Yeah.
Pretty zippy. Like a friend who I talk tiny houses with regularly, we sat down one night over a whiskey and like designed a whole tiny house in 80/20. It's like hundreds of parts, whole like subframe and walls and floor and stuff. And it's like, just, really cool. Really cool. I don't use it enough. I don't really have regular use for those sorts of things. We did put some in the new PS2 pencil sharpener. Version 2 has some T-slot extrusion in it. But cool. Yeah, very impressive. Got its first cuts yesterday in the office. Just clamped to Rose's desk. Couldn't help ourselves. We had to fire it up and couldn't find the right collet combination, so we just chucked like this really crappy blunt 1/4-inch tool in there. But first G code, first run, like the circularity of the part was actually not bad. Could be better, but and you could really hear it vibrating, like all the 3D printed parts. Like I think we're just going to be chasing flex from here on in of like, no, that's got to be aluminium. Cool, replace that. But yeah, pretty exciting to see it take first chips.
I'm watching it now.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Oh my god, it's all over the freaking laptop.
Don't look.
It's very cool though. How do you feel about it compared to the Big Daddy, the original? Like, are there things you're like, oh, I wish I had this built this way, or like, is it? I don't know. How does it compare?
Look, it's
so far?
just kind of like a mini-me for now. Like, it's the kinematics of it are really based on the PS1. It's, it's noticeably slower and underpowered with its little steppers, NEMA 23 steppers or whatever they are, versus the clear paths on the big one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, quite a
it's
difference.
got much slower feeds and speeds, but it's all super early days too. We can swap out steppers, upgrade them. The way Rose designed it and built it, it's all sort of highly modular with heaps of shared parts and shared geometry. So it's like, which was the design intention was that it would be very much a working prototype and that we'd continue to sort of iterate on it as we were building it and testing it.
Cool.
So, yeah, we'll just see how we go. The plan with it is, there's some 80/20 in there, but pretty much the rest of the machine is entirely 3D printed, just in like draft mode, PLA printed parts. So, we'll replace those with stiffer parts as we go, or, elect to machine certain bits out of aluminium and replace them. So just, see how it goes. But it's cool to see it running.
Super cool.
Cutting, so.
It looks compact and like just simpler, I guess, which is obviously part of the intention.
It's a lot simpler, yeah.
I think
that it's about
always
the size
bodes
of a
well for
microwave.
Right. Always bodes well for like ease of assembly and part count and all the stuff. Just it all seems beneficial.
Yeah, totally. Particularly as the intention is for it to be out of our hands and on someone's bench on the other side of the world and be able to give them support of like, cool, just replace that with this bearing that's widely available or blah, 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 or reprint this part. Speaking of printing, what's the deal? I haven't looked at it at all. What's the Bambu fiasco?
The Bambu fiasco. I guess I'm not overly concerned because of how I prefer to use Bambu printers, but if we just start with, they are a Chinese company and seem to have, for just whatever reason, right, that plays a factor into the way things go and the potential for privacy concerns of IP, of some of that could be propaganda that I'm hearing in the States right now for sure. I don't have any negative feelings. Do I want my parts knocked off by Chinese sellers because they have easy access to them? No, but I don't know. I don't know if that's happening. I don't know how to tell if it's happening. As far as I understand, for reasons that they describe as, we are getting constantly attacked, both, I think, servers, and they had some weak security so that you could literally attack somebody's printer directly.
Oh.
And so they're trying to lock that down. Per the people that everywhere across the internet are very concerned because either updating the firmware, I think updating the firmware is required. I don't think it's an option. So that's the first big problem. And giant, I've just seen so many YouTube videos and people saying like, I'm done with Bambu, I'm selling mine, all this stuff. And I think that if they're truthful about it, the reason for it's good. They seem to, I just watched like a developer talk about it last night, that it seems like they've done it in this kind of clumsy, poor way that could have been done better so that we don't have to do this. But it's basically setting up the situation where they can lock down and say, nope, you can only use Bambu filament. You can only, I think the other thing is you can only send files via their cloud servers now. You can't do it locally. That part I don't know for sure. I haven't looked into it enough, other than that it's just like this massive backlash against them for the way that they're going about it. People want them to open source the way that it's done, and that's never going to happen.
Why would they?
No, I don't know why they would. I'm not overly concerned because I saw somebody's write up in a forum say something similar to how I feel. It's like, it's a tool that I want to work well, and as long as they're not, at this point, limiting what I can use in it through only their... But if that becomes a thing, that will be a problem for us. But as of now, I would prefer to not be hacked through my printer somehow. That's exactly why I put these things on a separate network than my computers. So that's my understanding.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Good to know. Yeah, I'd seen a bit of furor on the internet, but hadn't looked into what it was about. Because, I think I feel similarly. It's a tool owned by a private company.
Yeah.
That can do what they want, and it's a good tool,
I mean,
and I like it.
Think of it was owned by the Chinese government, instead of a private company.
Sure.
Interesting.
Have you tried speaking of such companies, have you tried R1?
I have not.
You haven't?
Not taken by it yet, but I probably should.
Had a little fiddle, just in sim theory, dialed up the model. I haven't given a proper road test to actually compare what I think of it, because I don't really, as a user, I don't find myself wanting new models. I'm just pretty happy with the ones I use. So I haven't had really a reason to go, let's just drive R1 for the day and see how it compares. But yeah, it's interesting. I noticed on Sim Theory they did a big update yesterday. It was down for a bit, and they've now got a US server version of R1, I think it is, running on Grok, which is that like high-speed LLM technology. I don't know how it works.
Isn't Grok trash, though? Is that the Twitter thing?
Nah, different Grok. Very confusing.
It's like, I'm not using Twitter's AI.
No. No, different.
I can't load
like some
Sim
sort
Theory.
of
That's interesting.
Technology that allows it to like respond faster. I don't understand how it works. Anyway, they have a US hosted version of DeepSeek now available in Sim Theory, which, sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
Check it out.
I can't open Sim Theory.
If you're worried about data security, then maybe that's the better one for you. But yeah.
Did you see that had a giant impact on NVIDIA's stock price?
Yeah, I saw all that on Reddit.
And then it went right back right after.
Yeah.
It's like this big spike. So no major thoughts. I mean, it seems to be highly efficient. I think the effect of NVIDIA's stock was that like all of these companies need NVIDIA GPUs, and that these were like crazy less resource intensive to train or use or something, so that like NVIDIA would be less needy or necessary potentially, is my understanding.
Allegedly, yeah. I mean, that's the hype, but I don't really know about. I haven't engaged with that because I don't really know, and
it's all speculation.
Speculation. But it does seem like a pretty well-performing model. But what I am excited about, which I haven't had a chance to try yet, is in the Sim Theory update, they've released a code mode where you can, a sort of development mode where you can script code, work on coding projects, but also run them in the same environment. So you can switch between
it's like Cursor a little bit.
Yeah, like a bit like Cursor, but you can, as I said, I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I think you can flip between editing your script and actually running the script in the web environment, depending on what you're working on, simulating, I guess. Just kind of seems cool. I'll have a play with that, see if it helps me with configurator stories, but yeah.
Sim Theory is working right now for you?
No, it seems down.
Yeah, it's a white page for me.
Ooh. It appears to be down, but I haven't had any time for configurators this week. It's been a short week. I took the day off for my birthday.
Oh, happy
Monday,
birthday.
And then, so I've only had 3 days, and I just feel like I'm chasing my tail. I've had low web sales and just slow conversions on custom quotes. So yet again, I'm at the end of my week, and I'm like, damn it, there's not enough money in the account to pay wages next week. Crap. What am I going to do? I'm going to stay at work for a few hours after we've finished here, and been meaning to do price rises early this year. I was thinking of doing a price rise next week. for the next couple of weeks. So I might sort of record a video this morning, do some promo, and maybe just run a sale of like price rises are coming. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Which I never enjoy, but I'm certainly way more comfortable doing price rises than I used to be.
Do you get sales because of that? It's like an urgency thing.
Last time I did, yes.
Nice. Yeah, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of our main plywood supplier has gone up 6% this week. So that'll have an impact, obviously.
But you don't typically need to adjust. I think we talked about this before. You don't really adjust prices throughout the year otherwise.
Once a year, maybe once every 2 years has been the pattern. Yeah. So I'll dig through Airtable, do all my updates in Airtable, and then I don't use AirPower or anything like that anymore, so I'll just manually sync stuff back to Shopify once I've rerun the calcs in Airtable, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's
How's your January?
I'm sorry. I did this to a friend the other day. It's been absolutely out of control, like in the best way. Unexpected on both of our business fronts, I guess. If we do job shop and products, we've overall best month ever for revenue for the CNC, well, all my business. We have the best product sales ever currently. And then job shop is just kind of like stupidly good for us normally. It's maybe like half of our best month ever, but those things never happen at the same time. It's almost always like smack one down and the other one goes up, and it's like, which has always been my intention of having this, two-forked, like two-sided sword of business. Is usually they balance each other out so we don't go under because one sucks one month, like multiple months in a row. And it usually doesn't happen at the same time. So Ricky's been working like crazy. I've been doing my best to keep up with things. We're like a little bit behind. We're ordered a ton of new product that like just keeping up with stuff, but we don't have any back orders really, but it just feels like we're behind our norm, which is weird. And good. It's like makes me think about like, well, what needs to change? Do we need to hire if this keeps up? Can't complain at any situation.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't particularly know why. Usually January's slow. Like always has been slow. I don't know.
Nice.
It's weird.
Great news.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I was wondering about that the other day, like whether your winter affects things. Like I know in the past you've had like snowstorms that have like brought trucks to a halt and things like that, and deliveries and slowed down. But like,
honestly, it usually does.
Yeah.
I mean, like one package, I know, I think maybe 2 packages have been delayed because of weather in the last couple of weeks, but it's like a day. It's usually like, oh, weather. But there's a chance it's political, like, and I'm not going to dig into that, but the sentiment may be things are looking up for a certain crowd and
interesting
potential for their businesses. And I don't know, just a weird hunch. I know that our Meta ads are absolutely going crazy in terms of ROI, like their return. I think it was one was at 26 ROAS, which, they're greedy. They're just probably claiming the goods, but the last 30 days, I've never seen that before. So that seems to be working. Cool. 23 right now, last 30 days.
Seems good. I mean,
I don't know.
I've
I hate
seen that.
Talk about it when you're not doing well.
No, don't be sorry. It's great. I've kind of seen that here. I mean, your political situation's distinctly different, but like I've seen sort of a restraint in customers leading up to an election here.
Yeah.
Where things slow down, there's uncertainty in the air, and then once it's over, regardless of the result, there's sort of a bit of a like, okay, back to normal. Nothing's changed.
Yep.
Like,
no, I'd say that's
I don't know.
accurate here.
I don't know.
knows?
We'll see. I'll just keep pushing along. Don't keep the pressure on the social. And, Ben made a really good point this week. He was looking through our Slack channel called Good News, where I share customer photos as they come in, and people take delivery of their things, and they, have a nice little comment and share photos of what they've just made. And Ben made a great point of like, Jim, none of this is on, like, you don't share a lot of this stuff. And he was like, I know it's probably because you don't like their photos. They're not good. You think they're not good enough. But like, there's all these really good examples of our product out in the world in actual use. I'm like, I know, but their lens is dirty, or it's like it's badly cropped, or it's like, I know it doesn't matter, but I find it difficult.
One quick thought
is
you could do the greens. Sorry, I did it again. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nah,
keep doing it. This time delay gets me so messed up. The quick idea I had for what you could do with those is to do the little, like, it's most prevalent on TikTok, but you can do it with different apps, is to do like a little green screen over top of it and like make it more engaging. And basically you're like changing the focus away from maybe what isn't appealing about it to like, now you see this face, you're going to stay here longer to watch my face, and then talk about the product and how you appreciate it. It's just like, it's a lot more work. But apps like that, like TikTok made that seem so easy. Whereas like the idea of green screening something before was like, oh, you got to be a pro. You need like crazy perfect background lighting. And these apps just like cut you out of anything anymore. It's just wild.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I've been thinking along those sorts of lines. I was going to shoot something in the studio of me talking to camera and then intercut it with some of these photos. Because I've got the whole story. I've got, in Rhino, there's the model of the project that I developed with the customer. And then I've got the customer's photos. Cool. And then maybe I've got some photos of it being made. Maybe, so I can cut all that together. It's just, effort. But I think it'd be worth doing.
Beep-up.
What's new in Software Corner?
Ooh. Although half of the show is software anymore. I happened to get a new computer. I replaced my laptop because it was now going on 4 years old. And I've had a couple situations last week where I kind of hit the wall with how slow it was. And so I'm installing all these apps again, and I can't live without a few things, one of which is Text Expander. That's a little tough to install because it's getting old. But Shutter, the little screenshot tool, seems to not notify you when it needs to update, or if there are updates, which is fine. It's a great tool and technically free. It is the best screenshot tool I've used for what I need for Mac. And there's so many new things in it, and I had no idea. There's highlight, spotlight. You can paste an image in. You can add captures, backdrops, freehand drawing, and I paid for it. I paid him $12 because I absolutely love this thing, and I didn't, have to, but I love it so much. It's such a good little screenshot app.
It is good. I use it.
That's my short story.
Many times a day. That in combination with the text OCR. I don't even know what app does my text OCR. I think it is Shutter as well.
I changed mine to Shutter to have one less app running.
Yeah, it is. I don't use Text Sniper anymore. It is Shutter that's doing my OCR stuff. It's so funny watching like anyone else use a computer now who doesn't use OCR. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why would you select text like that?
It like eliminates, that thing where you're like trying to select some text that's either not selectable, or like you try to select it and it starts to edit the field and all these like weird, annoying things. Never deal with that again. You just screenshot it with the right keyboard combination and you get all of that in your clipboard in perfect text. It's so good. You can also do QR codes, which I freaking love.
It's part of my strategy to never type again. Like I will OCR screenshot a client's name out of the email and paste it into the field in Airtable rather than retyping their name.
Oh yeah,
because I can't
do the same thing.
But I do that all the time.
Yeah,
my software drama this week was not. I had to look up this term, productivity theater, because I found myself sitting there one afternoon, knowing that I had to get quotes out and looking at Notion and looking at Airtable and going, I should really rebuild my leads base in Airtable.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I know this.
I know you know this game. Anyway, I did it. I must admit.
Long story short.
Did rebuild my leads base in Airtable. And of course, because it's new and novel, I'm enjoying it. I'm using it more and I'm keeping it up to date. And in 6 months' time, there'll be too much junk in there and I'll give up on it and go somewhere else. But right now, it's working for me. So there. And
so on that exact note, I have a therapist now, finally, after years of wanting one again. Been a long proponent of therapy.
A real one?
And it's nothing like... No, it's real. Real person.
Real person.
Good. I talk to in real life.
Cool.
Actually, remote, but excited about that. And in the first Can I Get to Know You session, one of my things I'm trying to figure out is like, I always have this feeling of not getting enough accomplished, not being performant enough, have all these projects, I'm not getting them done. I kind of vaguely went over the thing that you and I struggle with where we're making new lists and not finishing them and starting new things. And she stops at one point. She goes, you know that like productivity is just a made up construct, right? And I was like, what? And I like sat there. I think we talked about a couple other things and I kind of went back and like, holy shit, what did she just say? Like my entire existence is like, how to make, and I even said something like, I've read like seemingly every productivity book and I'm just still trying to wrap my head around like, well, okay, how do I like that idea. How do I undo this thinking, this religion I have, around capitalism, basically is what she kept saying. And, I still don't know what to think about that, but well,
yeah, that's big. It's a big one. Just drop that in.
I don't know what to say anymore. Get a therapist. That's what I would recommend.
Everyone listening is unraveling right now. What? Okay, I'm gonna have to go away and think about that.
Just to keep us going here, I will reiterate: I have absolutely loving Raycast. It is just such a delight to use. I just keep thinking about, it's like that thing with AI tools where it's like, oh, I could use it for this. And I'm having that all the time now where it's like, oh, I wonder if there's a thing where I can create a calendar event from Raycast. Yes, somebody's made that. So you can natural language type, create an event, and then choose which account it goes on, and it puts it in your calendar. And I don't have to leave and open the app. I can like create shortcuts through it. I just like so many amazing things.
See, you spoke about this last week, and the tab has been open in my browser all week, and I've looked at it a few times, and I thought, I don't need another app. Come on, what does it even do anyway?
What are we here for if not to get more apps? You can add stuff to Notion. You can search stuff in Notion.
Okay, it's installed now.
ChatGPT, DeepSeek quick actions now. Anyway, it's delightful. And like, most of it's amazing for free. Like, it's just doesn't even cost anything.
I did have some real work to do, but now I've got to set up Raycast.
You really? Yeah, just start using it. You don't have to set it up. You'll just think of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it. What's our time? 50 minutes.
Oh, you can see a timer. I thought it was like the casino and they don't give us a clock in this app.
Do you see it at the bottom? It just podcast forever. Why would you need to stop?
Sweetie, have a good show. What you do is so important.
No, they don't give the guest a timer.
It's so silly that I can't set you as like a co-host. I can only add you as a guest.
That's me.
There's always a thing.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
See you. Thanks for tuning in. Beep up. Hopefully it's easier to edit.